What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of All That Matters. I am so happy you guys are joining me on this journey. It's been really fun to be able to talk to you guys about some things that I feel like are very important to discuss. With that being said, let's hop into the next topic. This topic might be slightly controversial. It's not really meant to be, but it's my take on something that I feel is a real strong problem in not only the US, but really the world and where it's going. I think one of the most prolific problems in today's society is convenience. And I think it's kind of crazy how often we'll prioritize convenience over actually putting in the effort and the work to establish real skill or real knowledge or real whatever it is behind what we're trying to accomplish in order to instead get a convenient way out or get something that is more convenient for us. Let's talk about just a few examples of things that are happening in today's world that are convenient. For me, I obviously come from a bit of a scientific background, medical background. At one point, I was projected to just become a pharmacist for the rest of my life and do that thing. And obviously, I'm not in that world anymore. Now, something that I think is interesting to know, I guess, about me is that I actually do love medicine in general. Like, I think it's a really cool thing. I think the concept of being able to build these molecules that coalesce together in order to either cure something, mitigate an issue, or help someone's life is really awesome. But simultaneously, I don't agree with a lot of what's going on in the medical field and typically where it trends. Some of my takes are very against medicinal approaches to things or stuff of that nature. That doesn't mean I don't appreciate medicine. I don't think medicine is awesome because I really do think that we have made some crazy strides. But there are certain things I disagree with. For instance, the current state of affairs with the way people are using GLP-1s. GLP-1s are a class of medication that were originally established in order to help people who were diabetics or who had high blood sugar, right? But now are being used primarily to lose weight. And you may have heard of some of these medications such as Ozempic or Wegovy. Now, I don't have a problem with anybody who takes it, but I do feel like I personally am against the idea of using those medications in order to become thinner or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. You're trying to become thin. Now, if you've paid attention at all to what the climate has been like around the world, or more specifically in the US, you probably have noticed that a lot of people are on these medications in order to lose weight. Now, whether there are side effects or whether there are things that can happen downstream, I don't even want to focus on that. I want to focus on the concept behind it. And that's really the idea of not putting in the effort to lose the weight or to establish healthy habits in general in order for you to make sure that you are becoming the healthiest version of yourself. So instead, you rely on things that are going to speed up the process. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say that they have tried to lose weight and it hasn't worked. And that may be true. I don't know everybody's story. Again, this is a specific generalization of the topic, and I'm not speaking to anybody who has a very unique situation. I'm talking about people who have legitimately just said, screw it, I'm gonna go ahead and just take these medications and lose the weight. The concept behind it is that if there's a shortcut, why not take it? The reason I think this is so terrible is because if you are thinking like this, you're probably thinking like this in a stream of other thoughts that accompany other things that you're trying to do in your life. This has things to do with like making money or establishing skill sets or whatever it is. And I'm gonna go into more specific topics, but let's focus on this. When it comes to losing weight, the important part about losing weight is actually becoming healthy. It's not about just the physical appearance. The physical appearance is awesome. Obviously, you would love to be thinner, be able to fit into clothes that you typically don't fit in, be able to feel more confident on a day-to-day basis, and all those things are awesome. You should pursue that. That's great. But really, the most important part about losing weight is not the superficial material aspect of it. It's the deep impact it has on your physical health and what it can also promote in your mental and emotional health as well. For me, when you take a shortcut when it comes to this, you are really taking away the opportunity for yourself to build strong habits that can be taken on for the rest of your life. If you do decide that you are going to go this route, what you are essentially telling yourself is that, hey, I don't want to put in all of the work that accompanies getting myself down to the weight or the desired outcome that I am accomplishing. And when you do that, down the line, when you're getting older and when these things aren't going to be as prevalent or healthy, then you are going to have to rely on your established abilities in order to reach the outcome that you want. But you won't have those abilities, and it'll become that much more daunting to accomplish. And as we know, the younger you are, the easier it is to lose weight, establish these habits, and to become a healthier version of yourself. If you're not doing this really, really early on, then later on, you are probably not going to do it. This is not to say that humans are not capable of changing or don't have the capacity to accommodate these type of things down the line. But the reality is, the older we get, the more stubborn we get, the more set in our ways we get, and the harder it is to establish new habits, new thoughts, new processes. There's a reason that there's a saying that says, you can't teach an old dog a new trick. Now, yes, it is overall a cliche, but that doesn't mean that there isn't some truth in it as well. So if we're relaying this train of thought to other things that are going on in our lives, then we can also relate to things like making money. Now, a lot of people have looked at things like day trading or crypto or time NFTs. But we can see that all of these things are related to the idea of making money quick and not putting in the time to actually establish the habits and build the skill sets in order to make money long term and become wealthy long term. I think Warren Buffett said it, but he said that anybody can become wealthy, just nobody wants to spend the time that it takes in order to become wealthy, because it's usually a long-term game. And the people who are wealthiest are playing a long-term game. That doesn't mean that there aren't ways to establish money-building activities right now and make a lot of money. But regardless of what it is, it will take time. I can't tell you how many people that I've been around and circles that I've been in that have talked about multiple ways about getting rich quick. In fact, I've fallen into one of those specific schemes myself. At one point, a lot of people were drop shipping, and I paid someone a lot more money than I should have to open up a Walmart and Amazon drop shipping store in order for me to make quick money off of it. It worked for this much time, like literally 2-3 months. It looked great. And then it obviously caught up, because this is not the best way to make money. And our store got closed down, and we actually ended up losing a lot of money. I understand that these things are extremely enticing. It may feel like it is a great opportunity to make money, to lose weight, to do whatever. But if you're not establishing the work and the skill set and the foundation that accompanies everything, you're always going to fall back into the same habits that you've spent your entire life in, because you've never ever learned anything else. Let's even talk about the history of where we've been and where we're going. When we look at stuff like the GLP-1s, for instance, think about the epidemic we had with painkillers and how it was so problematic. And it eventually caught up with us. And now look at how many people are in real strife because of the issues they were put into because they were so dependent on painkillers. What do you think is going to happen when you become so dependent on medication to help you lose weight? What do you think will happen when you become so dependent on get-rich-quick schemes in order to make money? Eventually, those things do catch up with you, and you're going to have to learn a real skill set in order to generate money long-term, or in order to lose weight long-term, or in order just to be healthy in general long-term. I personally love AI. Okay, well, I don't love AI. I'm not obsessed with it. I think there's some really scary consequences that accommodate AI, but I also think AI is incredible. It's a very useful tool. Simultaneously, look at how many people have been using it to take the beauty out of certain things. For instance, with art, with music, with things that used to be synonymous with creativity. Now they're being removed, and AI is instead taking a part and putting a foothold in this industry. It's so important that we don't lose sight of the beauty that is within the world and the beauty that is within establishing real skills, putting actual work in, and developing real relationships within ourselves with these things that have a long-term gain. When convenience becomes the most important thing, we will quickly lose ourselves, and we will quickly become dependent on things as opposed to being able to self-actualize. Now, dependence on certain things is obviously important and healthy. For instance, being dependent on other humans, building those relationships is healthy. But becoming dependent on services or on things that can just make life substantially quicker or easier will catch up to you. Now, if you resonate with this or not, that's fine. I have no problem with people who feel differently. I actually think having a difference in opinion is super healthy, right? Regardless of how you feel, I think it's important that we all acknowledge the fact that sometimes there are good and bad in pretty much everything that we see or that we do. And unless we are aware of those things and are actually keeping them within our mind before making those decisions, then we are really doing ourselves a disservice. Thank you again for joining me on this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you saw my viewpoint. And whether you agree or disagree, let me know how you feel about it down below in the comments. And if you felt like this is something that is good and something that you feel like people could, benefit from listening to, please share it. Make sure to like this video if you liked it. If you didn't, don't like it. But ideally, just like it. It would be great. And please subscribe if you have not already subscribed. It would mean a lot to me. It'll really help my growth and my goal to get this channel to where I would love it to be. Have a wonderful day. Love y'all. Peace.